I need to talk about what I just watched on TV here, which is Raw. Now I've talked about how I'm kind of done with the product, but tonight was a reunion, and I thought, how bad is this gonna get? Because they advertised 33. Wasn't Psycho Sid supposed to be there? Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, whatever you want to call him. Wasn't he supposed to be there? Did he break his leg in the back? So here's the problem. So you have these reunion shows, right? And it's great. And they close the night with one of the greatest promos I've seen in years by Steve Austin. Which means Steve Austin is still the best promo guy in professional wrestling, and he hasn't wrestled in years. He went out there, he was himself, he just went out and he said whatever came to his mind, he cursed and he swore, and it was great. It was genuine and it was real, and it was still in character and it still worked. These are all the things that we would love to see from Raw every week and from SmackDown every week. And they're advertising for SmackDown tomorrow that Shane McMahon's going to answer blah blah blah. I'm not watching that crap. I'll just watch Wrestle Talk, and I'll watch ups and downs. Simon Miller, he can up his downs, and then I don't have to watch the crap. And Raw tonight, you have a chance. You have these veteran guys coming in, and I just think back. So back in the late '90s, Raw WWE was saying, "Hey, we've got all the young kids here. They've got all of our old guys there who can't really go anymore. You've already seen them. You don't want to watch them again. We've got the new stuff here." And then Stone Cold comes along, Shawn Michaels gets big, DX becomes a big deal, and the viewership starts going towards WWE from WCW. Back then it was WWF, right? So what we're looking at tonight is they're putting over all these legends. They're these big bad legends. Like you have what? All of a sudden NWO, and so if you're gonna have these characters come out in character, can we maintain something of what they were? You have NWO come out to join DX, even though they were against each other at Mania when Sting was against Triple H, because Sting was in NWO for a minute. He was NWO Red as well. He was Wolfpack. He was never NWO White and Black. He would not join NWO Hollywood because he was in a feud with Hogan, but then when you get to Mania, then we'll just throw them together. What tonight does is it's going to get a pop in the ratings. There's going to be people who watched it, and from what I've seen, a lot of people weren't happy. There are a couple of different sites I check where they do the live results, and then I see people commenting. Now, you're going to have more of the Internet Wrestling Community, IWC as it's infamously known, complaining about it, and they complain about a lot, and they have for years. But tonight, I think they have a valid point. You've got Braun Strowman. What are they doing with him? Oh, he's back to squashing guys in 30 seconds. Okay, so they don't know what to do with him. The best moment tonight, other than Stone Cold's amazing promo, which kind of meandered, and the funny thing is, when he started meandering, I'm like, oh, some good stuff is going to come out here. This is going to be good. When he was talking about hugging Ron Simmons, and he's like, yeah, we hugged for both 30 seconds, and if somebody didn't know who we were, they might think something was going on between us. And Ron Simmons, I'm trying to think. I was trying to read his lips where he goes, now stop it, or something along those lines, like, hey, now don't go there, kind of thing. And Stone Cold thought he was just pulling the whole damn thing, but it was really funny. And the other great segment was Bray Wyatt. The only problem I have with the Bray Wyatt thing is, and this is a small quibble, the lighting, all of the things they're doing for when he comes out. I don't think it's as effective as if he just shows up. No warning, no music, no lights going out. He just shows up. I know why they're doing it the way they're doing it. They're building up the mystery. They're building up the character. He drops Mick Foley tonight. Mick Foley was the one legend who actually physically got involved, even though it wasn't. He didn't get hurt. I mean, the mandible claw, as gross as it may look, it doesn't cause any kind of injury of any sort, and that's Mick Foley's finisher. So the fact he did that to Mick is something. And I'm guessing he didn't do the Sister Abigail because Mick Foley's got a concussion history, and you can't be giving him that. So that makes total sense. I thought Mick was okay. The 24/7 title and all the changes, and it's just silly. I will say this: Drake Maverick and R-Truth are doing their best to make it work. Drake Maverick can be a good wrestler. He can be a good character. This doesn't work. This whole thing with his wife and all, it doesn't. They've got to stop. They've got to kill this. Ditch it. Get rid of it. It's got to go. R-Truth as 24/7 champ is funny. It's some great segments. It's some great stuff. R-Truth has always been over with the crowd, and when they could have put the championship on him, they didn't when they should have. When he was doing the little Jimmy thing and he was a heel, but he was kind of crazy, that was the time to hotshot the belt onto R-Truth and give him a decent run with it and really build him up as this crazy threat. But instead, they just went with the whole little Jimmy thing and made it all a big comedy, and then he gets squashed. And next thing you know, he's tagging with the Miz, where you get Miz Truth, and it just didn't work. So for me, tonight did not convince me to start watching it again next week. I have been trying to stay away from it. I say trying because sometimes between 5 and 8 o'clock at night on a Monday, there's not really a whole lot on during the summer unless I want to sit and watch a baseball game. And if it's not two teams I care about, probably not going to watch it. So there are some casual people who are still viewing Raw, but I don't think they're really paying a whole lot of attention to what's going on. And the only segments I watched were from 6:45 till 8 o'clock. So it was just that last hour and 15 minutes I watched. I didn't watch the rest. I don't have any interest in the rest. I think part of where, when they do these legendary reunions, they fall is some of the women that you see on this weren't exactly tremendous technical wrestlers, and it's from an era that we remember women were hired for their looks. They were hired before they knew how to wrestle at all, and we get like the Jackie Gaeta match. Remember Jackie Gaeta? Remember that? Remember that against Trish? That's a bad, if you haven't seen it, go ahead and look it up on YouTube. And then you'll need one of those neuralizers from Men in Black to erase the match from your memory, because it's hideous. And some of the wrestlers that were out there were not tremendously great wrestlers. So, and on the men's side, for the most part, there were some interesting ones. Why is Christian buried? Why was Christian buried in the back and he was on the very left-hand side? So when Michael Cole's going through the name of everybody who's out there, before he can get to Christian, Hulk Hogan's music starts, and then, you gotta talk about Hogan being out here. And of course, he calls it the Raw Reunion, which is perfect Hulk Hogan. At some point in time, his ability to cut a promo, it's gone. He can do all of his catchphrases, but as soon as he's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and improv this line, and if it wasn't improv and it was scripted, Raw Reunion is wrong. And please, if you're gonna plug Stone Cold's beer, know the name of the company. Broken Skull IPA, I believe is what it's called. And they called it Stone Skull. And then that was Michael Cole that called it that. And I went, oh, God, Cole, get it right. And then Renee called it Stone Cold IPA. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that's not it either. I was trying to read the cans. I'm pretty sure it's Broken Skull IPA is the name of his beer. If you're going to plug it, at least get it right. And of course, one of the highlights tonight, Corey Graves, I think, has this thing he's doing now where he tries to crack up Michael Cole. And he's doing it. And it reminds me of that Botchamania thing where, so-and-so's corpsing, send for the man. And it reminds me of that every time. And I think either Corey Graves is a huge fan of Botchamania and he wants to be in every Botchamania, cracking up Michael Cole and Renee Young. Or maybe we're looking at just Corey Graves going, you know what, this is ridiculous. And there's some of that in his voice where he seems to have an attitude like, this crap we're watching right now is absolutely ridiculous. And I can't take it seriously. That Drake Maverick's wife is gone along with the belt, and he's like, oh, he took the funniest thing I saw. The funniest thing I saw tonight was actually a comment on one of the sites I follow where a guy said R-Truth didn't just take the belt, he's going to consummate that marriage for Drake Maverick because he's the 24/7 champion. And I thought, you know what? I would not put it past WWE to do that if they actually read that comment on the internet. We're in a strange, strange time. The most over wrestler in your company is a guy who retired a decade ago in Stone Cold Steve Austin. It shows they're not making stars right now. John Cena came out early. Cena is not on Stone Cold's level. He never was. They tried so hard to get him there, and they're trying really hard with Roman Reigns to get him there, and it just doesn't work. So I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what wrestler in WWE can get to that level. And I know there's going to be people who say, well, nobody can be on Stone Cold's level. That's the problem. That's where the problem is. You can't bring back the Attitude Era and go, okay, we're going to go back to Attitude or TV-14 and go edgy without a Stone Cold type character or a Rock. The Rock and Stone Cold are why the Attitude Era worked, why they were able to have 2 shows, and why they were able to fill up that time. The Rock and Stone Cold were the anchors of that show, and I don't see anybody, and I'm including Brock Lesnar in that, because Brock Lesnar, while he's the strongest SOB on the planet, you can make that argument, that's fine. You can argue he's one of the greatest MMA fighters, and he's stronger than everybody in the locker room, but he is not capable of cutting a promo like that. He is not capable of connecting with the fans like that on his own, on an organic level, and that's why he's got Paul Heyman there for him. You don't have anybody who's capable right now in WWE of doing that for 2 reasons. 1, you don't have guys that are trained to cut promos, it seems, like we used to. And 2, everything is so bloody scripted. Again, I've mentioned this before, Dean Ambrose talked about how scripted everything is and how, they can turn a noun into an object. So, or a prop, I should say. So if you make some silly comment one week and it's some funny little comment, whatever comment you made, they're going to go, oh, that's your thing now. And Vince McMahon will give you a prop because he's like, this is going to be such good. And no. And apparently that's what Vince says backstage a lot. So let's hope they get it together. But tonight's show didn't convince me of anything other than Stone Cold is still the greatest of all time. Absolutely, easily in my mind. If you think that's not true, you can let me know in the comment section below if that's not true. But his ability to connect with a crowd, the fact that I still get goosebumps when I hear that glass break and that music start, there's nobody else that does that. The Rock, kind of, but to me, Stone Cold's on that level above everybody else. They need to elevate somebody to that level. And they don't need to have somebody go on a huge winning streak to do it. They just need to make these guys connect with the fans or allow them to connect with the fans. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you watched the show, which legend did you look at and go, really? Because for me, it was Alicia Fox. As far as I knew, she was still a WWE employee. She just was on leave of absence for some backstage shenanigans and some other shenanigans that were going on, and she was being disciplined. And now she's out there with the legends, dancing around next to Jerry Lawler. I guess she's a legend now. I guess she's retired. News to me. So let me know who you were surprised to see on the stage. And what about these shows? Are they just sort of fun and you throw it away? Or are you as a fan right now saying, okay, so they have a few weeks left till SummerSlam and they did absolutely nothing to build to it or give us any reason to want to tune in next week? Because that's where I'm at. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support and for watching. And the growth on this channel has been kind of fun. So thank you guys for being a part of that. I'll talk to you again soon.